Public speaking is considered the biggest fear people have, next to death. But can you imagine for people whose English is not their first language? People with accents, how terrifying public speaking might be. Well, in this video, we're going to be covering the top 5 challenges people with foreign accents feel and experience when trying to do public speaking. And let's face it, it's everywhere. We can't escape it. At work, in public, with friends, no need to fret. I'm going to give you tangible practices that you could do to eliminate these problems, these fears, these anxieties. Because remember, good public speaking is something that can be taught. It's not only reserved for the extroverts. It has to be taught properly. And on this video, we're going to be doing just that. Hey there, I'm Gabriel from GB Voice Academy, your accent reduction voice coach to help you get that much closer to mastering the American accent. If you haven't yet, do me a solid. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can continue making these videos for you. Also check out my 5-star best-selling accent reduction and public speaking communication courses. I left all the links below. And for those of you who can't afford my courses, I have a very affordable option for you. With just $4.99 a month, you could join my Gabriel Superstars membership program here on this YouTube channel, where I am currently creating a personalized accent reduction lesson catered to my members. So it's an open communication forum that we can communicate. I could address those issues and put them together in a easy to understand lesson curriculum for my members. Check out the link below. I want to do everything in my power to give you all the options you need to get that much closer to mastering the American accent. So the first challenge I want to address is the language fluency vocabulary limitations. Obviously, if people have foreign accents, their vocabulary is limited. They can't express themselves as well as they could in their mother tongue. They might know what they want to say, but they just don't have the words or the facilities to be able to say it. You might have problems coming up with the right words to express complex ideas clearly, which makes your speech come across as less engaging. Well, the number one thing that I tell my A-list clients who pay me to teach them how to master the American accent and do great public speaking is to read publications in your particular industry. So if you're in the tech field, go to wire.com and read the latest article, but read it while really listening to what you're saying. Inevitably, you're going to come across words and expressions that you've never really heard before. By reading with a lot of attention, you're slowly going to, without knowing, subconsciously increasing your vocabulary words. Whether it's technology, real estate, HR, or personal finance, pick up a trade magazine, read the latest article out loud, and if there's a word or phrase that you're not familiar with, write it down. Create a list, a database of new words that you discovered. Look them up and play with it. Take one word and use it the next day at work or in a social environment. And that in turn is going to do 2 things. It's going to build your confidence and increase your vocabulary words. Do that on a daily basis. You're in the industry, and I'm sure some of you already do this, but you don't do it with the intention to build your vocabulary. Build up that list, and without you knowing it, it's going to build up in your brain. Now, the second thing I want to address that's a major issue is, of course, pronunciation and accents. We already have a limitation. We feel like with this accent, your confidence has already been taken down a few notches. You're afraid of what people are going to say, how they're going to judge you. Will I mispronounce a word? All that adds to the tension. And of course, the audience member is not going to sit there and say, I'm sorry, can you repeat what you just said? Because it comes across as rude. But if you're doing a public speaking forum, they might actually physicalize it like, huh? What did he say? I don't know what he's saying. I'm going to go back to my phone. And it could be very discouraging. Well, here is a tip on how to combat that. And this is a tip I tell all my A-list Hollywood clients. I've said it before and I'll say it again. What is the number one thing that the greatest public speakers in the world all have in common? They never rush. Look at Barack Obama, Morgan Freeman. Look at my personal favorite, Orson Welles. They never rush. Now, if you're in the process of reducing your accent, which I hope you're doing through my courses and of course on this YouTube channel, regardless, you have to be actively working towards mastering the American accent, but regardless of the level, by speaking slower, it's going to be more understood. For example, if I have an accent and I want to say, thank God for coming, I'm very thrilled to help you. I said that very fast, and I'm sure there are a lot of words that people wouldn't understand. But if I took my time, even if I had an accent, thank you all for coming, I'm very thrilled to have you all today. Now, that was an Indian accent, but I slowed it down and it was understood. If it was Spanish, thank you all for coming today, I'm very thrilled to have you. Again, fast speaking, because in our native tongues, we probably speak fast, but in American accents, we don't. It slows down. At least the good articulate public speakers do. Thank you all for coming. I'm very thrilled to have you. Okay, thick Spanish accent, but if I speak slow, people will understand me. You're not going to be having, wow, what the? We get caught in this. I better talk very fast in order to get information out. On the contrary, you're doing a disservice to the listeners. They paid a lot of money to be there, or say you're head of a department and you're talking. You have to make sure people understand what they're saying. So by slowing down, at least the understandability of it will be increased dramatically. Now, with time, by watching my videos, joining my membership, and taking my courses, you will eventually be able to reduce that accent. And when you combine that slow, rhythmic speaking with your accent and production training, you're going to sound spectacular. Now, the fourth thing I want to address, of course, is the cultural differences. Admit it, Americans have a different humor. Their humor is specific, as any language has different humors. If you watch a stand-up comedian from other countries that you're not from, you won't understand where the punchline is because their rhythm is different. So here's a solution, and this is what I tell my A-list Hollywood clients. Current American comedians. Yes, you heard me right. Your homework is to watch comedy. If you watch the latest, not the old 1980s comedians, I'm talking about the current ones. Most of their material is very current on the latest trends. So you can go to YouTube and find all of these stand-up bits, they're everywhere, and really pay attention to what they laugh at, what the rhythm is and the delivery. Because you can't have an American accent without that right rhythm. And we cover that a lot on this channel, so go through the videos on this channel because we address exactly that. And not just watching, but watching with intent. You're going to start hearing a pattern, and that pattern could be incorporated in your everyday talk. Make yourself some popcorn, sit down with your wife and kids, or husband, whatever, and watch and really absorb that rhythm, that flow, what they're laughing at, and try incorporating that in your everyday. The great American public speakers always bring in humor to the conversation to reduce cortisol levels and stress and make people feel very comfortable. It's part of the American culture to drop a joke here and there, to be witty, to be funny. And the last and final issue that people with foreign accents have when trying to public speak, of course, is, and it's something we all have, is fear of judgment. And fear of judgment will affect your accent, therefore your public speaking, and you'll sort of tumble downwards, and we don't want that. And remember, everybody is afraid of public speaking. I'm still afraid of public speaking, and I've been doing this for years, and I'm a trained actor, theater actor. It never really goes away. Even if you're a great public speaker, people will still judge you. And we all know this when you're doing a public speech, or a lot of my clients, they do the Toastmasters, which is a great opportunity to be able to really practice your public speaking. There's always going to be that person in the audience that's either on the phone, rolls your eyes, doesn't pay attention, is talking to somebody else. How unfair would that be to the person who really is engaged, who really is watching you, rooting for you, a fan of yours? So what I always recommend to my clients is focus on the one that is paying attention to you. Out of the whole audience, there's always that one that's looking at you, that's really intent, that's taking notes, that's engaged with you, whether it's a friend or a family member, who cares? Why would you neglect them, those people that are backing you up, from a good public speech because of this one idiot over there giving you a hard time? Do it for that one person who's rooting for you, because they deserve it. And I highly recommend this Toastmasters program they have because you get constructive criticism. And we could all use constructive criticism. And to be able to take it without taking it personally is a wonderful path to growth. And we all experience it. I experience it. You guys comment on my channel and say, hey, I really hope you could do this better, blah, 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 blah. It's normal. It's part of growth. I take it in, I try to address it, and I try to be better. Public speaking doesn't have to be the biggest fear in the world next to death. It could be one of the most enjoyable experiences you'll ever have, especially if you're communicating from the heart. If it comes from here, it's always right. These are the steps we need to take to get you that much closer to mastering the American accent in a beautiful public forum.